I'm an autism awareness angel, making sure my wings protect the different, the stranger than. I'm an autism awareness angel. It's good, cause I'm cool with the unique behavior. I'm an autism awareness angel. Will you accept me? Cause I accept you. I'm an autism awareness angel, cause a view from the spectrum is a better point of view. The question at hand.
Hello, I'm Tally and welcome back to Autism 30. Today we are speaking with SF Walker and Rebecca Farnell from EmploymentWorks Canada Program, located in the same building where we are recording this podcast, the beautiful PAFN's Good Life Fitness Hub in Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. SF Walker, who is originally from Toronto, works at the Pacific Autism Family Network, is the Employment Program Manager and Group Chair for Voices of Autism, as well as Facilitator for EmploymentWorks Canada Program. She has a Bachelor of Science in Special Education and Teaching from Missouri State University. SF is the co-founder of Coach Family Services, a volunteer-based information sharing network whose project includes support groups, public speaking events, and disability family support. SF proudly identifies as having Asperger's syndrome. And Rebecca Farnell, who was born and raised in the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. She is the program coordinator for EmploymentWorks Canada Program at the Pacific Autism Family Network. She has her Master's in Counseling Psychology from Adler University. In addition, Rebecca is a registered clinical counselor. Rebecca has a passion for individuals with ASD and a desire for everyone to live happy, healthy, and full lives. Welcome.
Thank you.
What is the history of EmploymentWorks Canada Program?
So the EmploymentWorks Canada Program is part of a pilot project that's federally funded throughout Canada. And the headquarters is at the University of Calgary. And presently there's actually 10 different sites throughout Canada that are doing the EmploymentWorks Canada programs.
That's fantastic. So it really is a nationwide program.
That's right, from coast to coast.
And
Yes.
that's great news for people that live in the Lower Mainland of Vancouver, because then they have access to the PAFN program here in British Columbia and can get access to your wonderful services.
Exactly. It's a training program for young adults with ASD who want to work. So basically what that is it's giving pre-employment skills for these individuals who are looking sort of for the next stage in their employment process.
Wonderful. Now, what's the philosophy of the program?
Well, the philosophy is about teaching and learning and getting more acquainted with yourself, who you are as a professional, who you are as a worker, who I am in relation to my coworkers and my boss.
Because all these skills for people with ASD, I'm assuming, are much more difficult to understand than the typical person.
Definitely, yeah. And so we really have both structured learning and then also an opportunity to go out into a job site and learn as well.
Wonderful. Now, who is the program geared for specifically?
So this program is geared for young adults on the autism spectrum, ages 15 to 29.
Wonderful. And how long does the program last?
It's a 12-week program, and it's 2 days a week.
What does the program schedule look like, and what does that entail?
Yeah, so basically what that looks like is it's 2 days a week. So our first day, we're located here at Pacific Autism Family Network, and we do what we call our structured learning. So that is sort of like a classroom learning setting. So it's 2.5 hours, and we have role plays, and we do pen and paper work. We're also working in groups. We also do individual work, and we sort of break it down into small, manageable steps of what it really looks like for steps to get out there and to have pre-employment skills.
And that's great. Now, what skills specifically are taught?
Yeah, there's a myriad of skills that we teach. Anything from how to dress when we're going to a work site, be it casual or business or work clothes. We also talk about bullying in the job site. We talk about communication and social skills. What's acceptable to talk about to coworkers compared to perhaps how you should talk to your boss.
Yes. Now all of those skills that you're mentioning, the way a person dresses, the way a person communicates in subject matters that are typically not appropriate for the work setting. Mm-hmm. Why do you believe that those skills are so vital to our community members for them to be learning?
I think it's very important to have those skills to be fully integrated into the community.
Yes, absolutely. So, for example, you mentioned attire and clothing, because I do believe, having interviewed people for employment with past companies that I've run, I believe even the typical people could have homework on this issue. But why specifically do you need that this is important for our ASD community members?
So because often individuals with autism are one of the highest underemployed groups, learning these skills are so vital to how they're going to present and how they're going to perform in things such as an interview or how they're going to do for those next steps in employment. So it's not that they don't have a desire to learn or even an eagerness to learn these things. It's just perhaps they need quite literally some tangible steps of how to dress, how to look, what do we say, what don't we say, things like that, in order for them to give them that sort of one step ahead in order for their next steps.
Absolutely, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I find that our ASD community have the skills and are even more qualified than our typical counterparts. However, they don't get the employment because of the fact of all these skills that you're mentioning, but on the job, they do phenomenally well.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely agree with that, and I think another part that makes the EWC program so exciting is that the second part, after we do our structured learning on the first day, the second part is we actually do a job sampling. So we go out into the community and we go to different work sites where the participants have a hands-on experience with what that job could look like. Be it at a bank, be it at a recording studio, be it at a props production place. So actual literal work things that individuals need to do, these participants get to do those things as well.
And that's fantastic that you're teaching those skills. Now, another skill that you work on is communication skills. Communication skills are so vital to the interview process, and people with autism often have difficulty in this one particular area. What techniques do you use to facilitate the process of learning these skills?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do lots of great activities in the program. So we have role plays where the participants are put together in groups and they can practice and act out what different scenarios could look like. They also have lots of self-reflection pieces as well to think, how do they present themselves? What skills do they need to work on, or what skills do they already possess? And another one which I think is really great about the program is we actually have iPods that we iPads
yes.
that we have that we both take pictures with and also do videos with. And then we look back on those videos and we see, how did my face look? What is my body language looking like right now? Am I actually looking engaged with the speaker? So it's an opportunity for us to actually, or for the participants to look at themselves and sort of judge themselves accordingly.
What skills are taught?
Mm-hmm. So there's a whole myriad of skills that we teach in our program, everything including who am I as a person, as a worker. We talk about stress in the workplace and stress management. We identify bullying and what to do. A big one that we talk about is disclosure. And if you are someone with ASD, how are you going to disclose? Are you going to disclose? So we talk about communication and how that's going to look and sound different communicating to your coworkers compared to communicating with your boss. We talk about professionalism, how to dress, showing up on time, making sure you know where you're going. Resume building, what to include on a resume. Goal setting, from tangible goals every week to sort of your big overall goal for the program. A lot of self-reflection in there. Community interaction as we're going to all these different job samplings, how do we interact with the community? How do we interact with these professionals who are working there? And also, I think I mentioned time management as well, both showing up to the appointments here and then also to our job placements.
Wow, that's all fantastic information, and I think even the typical community could benefit and learn a lot from you.
Mm-hmm.
And SF, do you have anything to add?
Yes. So EmploymentWorks has just initiated a new part of our project, a new aspect called post-program supports.
Wonderful. And what does that entail?
So that's an additional 3 months of support for one-on-one. So each participant from the program can access one-on-one support from myself for 3 months, and we've also included a weekly employment group. So that's a group designed to create a system of mutual support for those who are seeking employment.
That's fantastic news, and I'm sure the community members would actually value your assistance with that. I mean, it must be so wonderful that you actually understand our community members really well as well.
It's wonderful for me, that's for sure.
And it's wonderful for us as well. Now, how many participants do you have at one time?
We have 8 participants in each cohort, and then we have 2 peer mentors, 2 facilitators, and a coordinator.
Wow, so what's the teacher-student ratio then?
Well, I would guess 2 to 8, 1 to 4.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. So they really do get completely supported, and they have a lot of resources at hand to be able to work with.
Yes.
And what time of year do you offer the program?
We offer the program year-round. Kind of depends on when holidays fall. So we've got the next 4 cohorts planned out, and maybe, Rebecca, you can take those?
Mm-hmm. So we're actually starting a fall cohort that will be starting at the end of October.
Wonderful.
And we will be taking a few weeks off in December and then going on until end of January. And then we have another one starting in February, another one starting in June, and then our last cohort will be in September.
And that's great. And for those of you interested, I will have that information posted on our monthly newsletter as well, the month before you're able to apply. And what are the costs to attend your program?
So this program is fully federally funded.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it is. So it's no cost to families and parents.
That's great news, because I know so many things for our community members are quite costly, and that's fantastic news, which means that this program really is accessible to everybody in the community.
Mm-hmm, definitely. The only thing I would say would be that the participants are responsible for getting to PAFN for our workplace, and then also on the day when we go out to our job sampling, they're responsible for getting there as well.
Which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you love about your work?
I love getting to work with my peers. Being on the spectrum myself, it's wonderful to be able to kind of go hand in hand with others on their employment search.
And you, Rebecca?
Mm-hmm. For me, I just count it such a privilege to work with this population. And every day there's funny little stories or little anecdotes, interactions with the participants. And I just love seeing them flourish and grow and learn new skills.
And that's fantastic. And SF, you are on the spectrum yourself.
Yes.
And your communication skills are excellent, and the way you present yourself is highly professional.
Thank you.
Did you learn your skills at your program, or were these skills that you learned elsewhere and now you're bringing those skills that you learned elsewhere into the program that you're teaching?
That's a good question. So I was raised, as far as I know, without autism. I has a late diagnosis. And so my upbringing was just like everyone else's upbringing. I didn't know the difference between disability, non-disability. I credit my parents for those skills.
Yeah. And thank God for wonderful parents, which is fantastic. And Rebecca, how do you find working with our community members?
I liken it to it was a number of years ago I worked at a camp with individuals with special needs, and how I tell the story is that there was a part of me in my heart that I didn't even know existed, and then it sort of just opened up, and I said, I was created to do this. These are my people, I say, and I just I love working with this population, and I count it a real privilege. Yeah.
And that's fantastic. Do you have any success stories to share with our audience?
Well, I think everyone in the program is a success story, which is wonderful. Probably what I noticed as the biggest success was our individuals and participants are at these various sites looking to see what interests them, but they come out of it a lot of times knowing what they definitely don't want to do for a living. And I think that's a really important part of our project here.
Absolutely. Now, how do you think they come to those conclusions?
With exposure, with discussion, conversation, reflection.
I mean, because I know even myself, when you go into the workforce, you have visions of what you want to do, quote unquote, when you're an adult, and then you proceed into adulthood and take on those positions and realize, no, this isn't for me, and you do change. And how do you find that the ASD community face those challenges after training, let's say, for quite a long time in the skill base that they believed their career to be? How do you find that they face those challenges?
I'm not really sure. Rebecca, can you provide some insight there?
I think probably with grace, just little small steps in that perhaps there could be some rigidity there, and this is sort of what I thought I wanted to do.
Yes.
But I think one of the great things about this program is we do a lot of, like I mentioned before, a lot of self-reflection and a lot of exploration, and who am I as a person? Who am I as a working person? And it's trying to find the best fit for those things. But another thing that I think is really important in the program is we talk about realistic steps as well. I'm 100% all for dreaming big and having great big dreams.
Yes.
But at the same time, we need to start out. With baby steps first, and so it's about gaining those skills. It's about gaining those entry-level skills in an employment workplace to know, just like SF said, what we like and what we don't like, and then building from there.
And what I really like, and correct me if I'm wrong about what you're saying, is that what you're training our community members in is employment that they value. It's not just shoving them into a job for the money's sake. What you're talking about is training them to find employment that they love to do and cherish to do. So when they go into adulthood, their employment is something that they look forward to and value themselves in those positions.
I would
agree.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
And that's fantastic news to parents out there who truly have what I call lower dreams for their children. What you're describing really isn't at all that, which I think is fabulous. And yes, take baby steps in achieving those dreams, but those dreams aren't out of reach for our community members, which is fantastic for we parents to hear. And is there anything else that we have not yet mentioned that you'd like to tell our audience?
No, I think it's a 12-week program. We mentioned that. It's 2 days a week. And it's a really fun program. Yeah, as much as there's lots of hard work. We are doing lots of self-reflection, and there are some takeaway activities, but at the same time, I think if the participants put the work into the program,
Yes.
I think they will then reap the rewards of the program.
And that's great. And I love the fact that you mentioned that it's fun as well, because it really should be.
Definitely.
I mean, I as a teacher, I believe that if things are learnt in fun, the information is often better
Retained.
Attained.
Retained.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought of the word in French and it just slipped my mind in English, and I thought I can't say that. But thank you very much, SF, for correcting me. Yes, it's better attained, and it sticks with you permanently. Now, finally, what would you like the world to know about autism?
People on the spectrum are no different than anyone else, but we have our hidden talents.
Absolutely. And Rebecca, what would you like?
I guess sort of, I would say just to celebrate difference and to celebrate diversity. And I think the things that are different about us sort of make us stronger, and just to have a mindset of curiosity and being curious about what's going on with individuals and learning from them.
Well, SF and Rebecca, I really want to thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
If you'd like to contact EmploymentWorks Canada, all of their details will be on our website at autism30.com. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for our monthly newsletter by clicking the word subscribe button located on the bottom left of the page. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, we'd appreciate it if you would take a moment to write a review, as this goes a long way to help our podcast stay current and easy to find for those looking for autism information. And finally, I want to inform you that Autism 30 will be off on October 1st and 15th and will resume publishing podcasts on November 1st. We are working hard at updating our system and making much needed improvements to better serve you. You can still, however, read our October newsletter, as that will not be affected. If you haven't signed up for our newsletters, you can go to our webpage at autism30.com and go to the bottom of that page and click the word subscribe and fill in your details. And voila, you'll automatically receive it to your email once a month. You can also unsubscribe at any time. We hope that you enjoy the transition to fall, and we look forward to bringing you more autism information on November 1st. Once again, this is Tally telling you to live in love.
Hey yo, I'm an autism awareness angel, making sure my wings protect the different, the stranger than. I'm an autism awareness angel. It's good.